Hi and welcome to part one of this tutorial of how to draw this Maine Coon cat. This is a time-lapse version of a real-time tutorial which is on my Patreon channel, so if you want to draw along in real time you can check it out over on Patreon. So I've started this cat by going in to draw the eyes. I like going in to do the eyes first because the eyes give you a real glimpse to the soul of the animal, and they also give you a really good starting point and focal point to then work out from. You want to get something in that looks like it's done, like it's finished, and the eyes on cats are the things that pop the absolute most. So if you can get those in first, then when you look at your drawing, you'll get a real happy feeling and think, wow, it's looking good. I'm happy with this, rather than going in to do something like the ear first, which is what I used to do when I first started. I would start completely from left to right and work across. But I do like going in to do the eyes first now because, as you can see from what I'm doing now, I'm getting the base layers in on the fur and it looks utterly bizarre to begin with. So I'm putting in the foundation colours, I'm putting in blocks of where the colours are, I'm working out the direction of fur, and I'm using soft pastel sticks to do that, and then I'm rubbing that in with the cotton wool bud. So that gives us a foundation to work on to then get those gorgeous hairs in on top of. And I'm doing it on the ear as well, so there's more purples, more pinks, more browns in there. But my point is, if you go in and do this part first, so imagine looking at this drawing without the eye. So you're looking at just this weird block of blurry colour. It looks bizarre and it doesn't make you want to keep coming back to the drawing necessarily, because it can look kind of ugly and it can be quite disheartening because you think, wow, this looks absolutely awful, and you lose faith in your ability to be able to actually get the drawing to the point where you want it to get to. So actually going in to do the eye first makes so much sense because you get a real good focal point and it looks like something from a finished drawing, so that if you work in these small sections and do small things like this first, you get a much more confident, happy feeling moving forward with the drawing. So I'm going in and I'm just using the pastel pencils on top of the soft pastels now to start to get those details in. And this is where it really starts to pop and come together. I've realized at this point that I was going to have issues with this drawing because the paper quality was not fantastic. Sometimes with sheets of pastel mat, you get a bit of a funny sheet and it's quite grainy and it doesn't really accept the details as well as you would like it to. I only seem to really have this issue with the dark grey pastel mat. That's where most of my problems seem to happen. I think you can contact Clairefontaine if this happens, or the retailer where you bought the pastel mat from, and ask for a refund. Unfortunately, I have bought lots of different batches from lots of different places, so I didn't know who to contact about this one to get it refunded. But you can normally do that if you do get an issue. So I had a bit of an issue with this paper in that it wasn't accepting the details in the way that I wanted it to. So I had to rethink how I was going to do this cat and do it slightly differently to normal because I couldn't get those really fine, precise details. So it was more about building up those layers and blending them together. So I'm putting in lots of different colors with the pastel pencils. I'm getting in the direction of fur, I'm getting in the colors that I'm seeing, but I'm making it sort of softer by blending it all in together rather than being able to get those really fine details on the top layer because they just were not sitting there. I was having real issues trying to get any sort of intricate detail down. And I didn't really realize that I was going to have issues until I got to the ear and started trying to do those ear hairs. So when I was doing the eye, everything seemed absolutely fine. And then coming in to do that ear is when I realized there was a problem. And by then, I was already too far in to sort of turn back because I really liked the eye. So I thought, well, I'll keep going and it should be okay. But I do think if you get that sort of issue, maybe do start again on a new sheet of paper, especially if it is for a commission, for a pet portrait for someone, because you can't always get the same level of detail that you would want to. So I'm going over all of my layers with really soft details. I'm not trying to put too much pastel on the page because it would go very grainy and it wouldn't sit nicely on the page because of the quality of the sheet of paper. So it's lots of very light details all overlapping to start to try and get some semblance of that realism and the different layers that we're seeing building up in the cat. I'm building up from my dark to my light, and then as you can see I'm going over with the white and I'm just getting those intricate sort of details over the top, and then I'm going back in between that, mostly because of the paper quality, with the darker pencils to get some shadows back in between those lighter colours. So this is where we got to with part 1 of the tutorial. It's about 3 hours long on Patreon. If you'd like to draw along, please do have a look. Or if you enjoyed this video, please do subscribe to my channel, and I will see you for part 2 next week. Take care, guys. Bye.